Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with video number 41. Today is Friday, March 29, 2024. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Florida. I'm happy to be with you. And welcome to all of you who have stopped by today or whenever you watch this video. I'm so happy to have my subscribers back and love all the comments. I love the interactions. And if you're new here, you're so welcome. And I hope you see something you enjoy and that you will like and subscribe. I want to get my viewership up a bit. I want to get more subscribers. So I'd be happy to have you join. And if you've been watching and have not joined, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It'll help my channel so much. Before I get started, I want to remind you all that the stitchysassenach.etsy.com offers my viewers a 20% discount on project bags from her. She does wonderful work. I heard from one of my viewers, Melody, and she has ordered 3 bags from Stitchy Sassenach and says she loves the quality, and she's so happy that I mentioned this and let everybody know about it. So I'm happy she's been able to take advantage of that discount. It's a very generous discount. So please check her out. There was a question from last video, and I answered on the notes, but I want to mention this too. Beverly asked if I could please show how I use PDFs on my GoodNotes app on my iPad. And I am just not tech savvy enough to know how to do that. You know, I record on my phone. I would have to hold my iPad up and I just don't know how to do it. I will continue to investigate that and see how I can show you how to do that. So I haven't forgotten. I will try. That's all I can say is I will try, because I am a total non-tech is what I am, non-tech. So that's the outstanding question from last video. I'm going to start off by showing you the Book of Days. It's been a great 2 weeks. I stitched every single day. And we're almost to the end of March. I have a couple more days. So I have checked off my big goals for the month, my 7 days on my focus, my 5 days on Forget-Me-Not, and no, 3 days on the red sampler and 5 days on Forget-Me-Not. I got to Borrett, and I touched other things too. So it's been a really good stitching time. Let me see. I have, oh, and last time Leanne from Loose Thread Stitchers asked me, so you do 7 days on your focus piece, you do 5 days on Forget-Me-Not, you do 3 days on red sampler. What do you do with the rest of your days? Well, this video is going to show you what I do with the rest of my days, because clearly that's about half of the month. There's 15 days, so that's about half, and there's plenty of stitching time left over. And I do pretty much whatever I want, but you'll see. I'm excited to show you today. I have 3 finishes, not fully finished. I have 3 finishes, and I worked on, I think, 4 different whips. So it was a great stitch time. So happy to show you, and here I go. Okay, like I said, no FFOs. I have 3 finishes. Okay, here comes Flosstube throat already. It's like clockwork. As soon as I start recording, I get itchy throat. Okay, I finished Pennsylvania Dutch Pinkeep with a needle and thread. That was my that was my red piece for this month. I gave it 3 days and got it done. Of course it's small, but after Maria, this was such a nice little break. Okay, it is stitched on 36 count vintage country Mocha, and I used the called for DMC number 22. Okay, so that's Pennsylvania Dutch Pinkeep. Dancer. Here's the next one I finished. I spent several days on Dancer. This is from Barbara Anna. This was published in, let me see, the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine 2021 Christmas Winter edition, which I get digitally. And I finished Dancer. Isn't that face something? I just love that face. Okay, and let's see, it's stitched on 32 count Lugana. It's called Basalt Splash. And she called for DMC, and I used all of the called for DMC colors. Now I'm thinking about how I'm going to finish it. Her finish is in a round hoop, so it's great for a round finish, whether I would do a hoop or something else. And it would look nice framed also, so I have to decide what I'm going to do for that one. There he is, Dancer. 1823, and that's the year that Night Before, what was the original name of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas? I think it was A Visit from Santa Claus or something like that, but that is when we were introduced to the names of the reindeer. That was the creation of that author, and the name just went right out of my head. I know I should know it, and so there you go. Flosstube Brain. Okay, the next finish I had was Strawberry Bird from the Blue Flower. You remember I was stitching on this for my daughter, so heads up, daughter. I've got the stitching done, so it'll get finished off sometime. And here it is. She called for DMC on this. There were 3 over dyes she called for, but I used the DMC alternate on those 3. And there was one change I made. The 2 greens, see, inside the leaves, there are details. I don't know if you can see. There are details inside the leaves, like with veins. And the 2 greens that were called for didn't have enough contrast for the veins to show, so I went through my DMC color card and found a green that I had in my stash, a DMC, that would just be enough contrast so that it would show. That's the only change I made. And this, let's see, Strawberry Bird, stitched on 40 count platinum by Zweigart. It's a lovely, lovely linen, by the way. It's not over dyed, it's just their platinum color. I enjoyed that stitch very, very much. It's a great fabric. And I'm glad I have a lot of it left over because I look forward to using it again. Okay, those are my 3 finishes. And I worked on 4 whips. The first whip I worked on, which was one of my goals for the month, was 5 days on Forget Me Not. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery. And you're going, Ed, I've told you over and over, and I'm sorry. I apologize to those of you who've been following me, but this is the Katie Strachan project. She did and mounted on a wooden box. I'm going to do the same, and I'm using my family initials of 6 generations in the maternal line. This is the portion that goes across the front of the box and wraps around the 2 sides. It wraps like at about, I marked these where they fold. Like here and here. So there's the front of the box, and there's one side of the box, and there's the other side of the box. Now I've just done the outlines of most of these because I want to make sure before I put initials in that I have room for the initials, and I'm not going to do all that stitching and then find out, oh no, it doesn't fit, I have to take something out. This one, of course, doesn't have a frame, so I had to stitch that one. So on this side, there are 2 smaller motifs, and I didn't put those in yet because I figure I can move those around, scoot those around as I need. And I'm still contemplating who's going to go where. I had thought my mother would go front, daughter's on the top, my mother here, and then my grandmother on one side and my great and great great on the other side. And then I would be on the back. But then I thought, well, maybe they should go kind of in order. I don't know. I'm tossing it around, but I have to, it's about time to get it decided because I need to put initials in this so I can move on. So that's where I am on that. I made good progress on those 5 days. And that's Forget Me Not, modern folk embroidery. Okay, the next one I worked on was Ann Borrett. And as you know, Ann Borrett has specialty stitches. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous sampler. And if it's done right, it can be reversible. At this point, I'm thinking mine's not going to be reversible. I spent several days diving into not only Nicola Parkman's stitch guide with diagrams, but also diving into Autopsy of the Montenegrin Stitch Exhumed. This is fantastic. You can see I've tabbed them, so where I needed to go to a page where I'm going horizontal to diagonal up to the left, or horizontal to diagonal up to the right, or I mean every single directional change has a different stitch path. So it's complicated. And I finished off the top band, and that went pretty well. The Montenegrin, I was able to do the change, and then of course you're doing the same change over and over, so it goes very well. Got down to this part, and this was extremely complicated. I couldn't use, Nicola didn't give me enough details to make it clear in my head, so I referred to this. And I'm not satisfied with what I've done here. It's messy, for one thing, so I would take it out, but I'm also sure I have mistakes. I'm sure I have mistakes. This edge is not the same as that edge, and it should be. And looking on the back, it does not look the way it does in the pictures. Let me show you the pictures of the actual. Okay. I hate to bend books back. Okay. So here is the flower I'm starting. And it's very symmetrical. Look at the top there. It's very symmetrical. So clearly I've made a mistake. And here's the reverse. Let me see, the reverse would be this one. Oops, my tripod has a handle sticking out and it's in my way. But see, again, that's still very symmetrical. And not only is mine messy, but it's not, I'm sure it's not right. I'm sure it's not right. I'm going to take it out, give it another shot. You see, it's not symmetrical there. So clearly I have mistakes, and I have to get that solved. So I'm going to take that out, give that another shot. I think I'm going to forget about it being reversible. That'll help me a lot. For one thing, I can bury my tails without worrying about having them showing on the front. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to continue. I'm not giving up. I'm learning the specialty stitches. The Montenegrin, the horizontal, I've got down. That's fine. The diagonals, every turning, whether you're going to the right or to the left, or if you're going diagonal up or diagonal down, they're all different. So I don't have those paths memorized yet. I very much depend on looking at the diagrams. But it's coming. It's coming, but I'm going to adjust my my goals on that one. So I'm going to forget about it being reversible, and I'll live with that. Okay, so that's that one. I also stitched a couple days on the Smith sampler from the Scarlett house. This beautiful one, you see people all over the internet working on this one. Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot is working on this one. And as I told you before, I copied her color choice on the fabric. She said, she let me know that at the attic, they picked it up for her. So that's fine, I'll still give Sarah credit. So I went back to this and finished filling out the border. I don't remember which side was done first. Finished filling out the border, and then on the other side matched it. And then over here, I just had thread left on my needle, so I went ahead and did that little start of a motif. So what I'm planning to do is now start the motifs that are here, work down, do motifs that are there, and not leave the border till last. That's always a disaster for me. So, so that's where I am at Smith Sampler, and this was my birthday start this year. Let me see okay, 40 count Cottage Stone by Color and Cotton. And I'm stitching with the Vicky Clayton silk conversion. I find that silk wonderful to work with. Very little twisting and knotting. And I don't, it must be something different in the silk because it's certainly not my clumsy stitching. So that's the Smith sampler. And the fourth one I worked on, you haven't seen for quite a while because I haven't worked on it for quite a while. This is the little chair sampler, little red chair sampler, I'm sorry, from the Scarlett house. And I kind of lost my mojo on this. I started this last May and went to StitchCon, and one of the people I met there who was a viewer showed me her finish of it that she did on 56 count with silk. And then I thought, oh, I wish I had started it on silk and with silk and on 56 count. But I had enough of the border done. I'd done the whole bones of the border all the way around. Oops, that didn't, that's, okay. I did the border all the way around. I was not going to put that aside. So I got back to, let's see, I had this part done, and after I finished, what was the last one I finished? Blue Flower. The rest of the day I worked on that rose there. So I have some of the outlining done, and again, I need to get into that border and not save it till last. Fill more in. There are red flowers that go in here, so not only do I have to fill in the leaves, but there are red flowers, so I need to stick with that as I stitch on it. So that's Little Red Chair Sampler, the Scarlett House. Did I say what that's on? 40 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside. And I'm using the called for Weeks Dye Works and DMC 310 for the black. Does she call for something else? Yeah, she calls for Weeks Dye Works Coal. I just use DMC 310. I always find that when I do those over dyes of a black color, I don't see any difference, and so I just use the black 310. Okay, so that's my 2 weeks of stitching. I thought that would take a long time to talk about, but it didn't seem to. And I have some haul. I told you last time that I had ordered from Market. I had ordered one. I did not see this really promoted very much. Susanna Lawton, 1841. Look at that. I love it. Everything I love about it. Gorgeous border. Has the birds. Has a house. Grass, dog, trees. But she's a big girl. It is 304 by 307 stitches. So she's a big girl. That's going to be a time commitment, but I love it. And I just haven't seen it around. No one has really jumped on this one. And to me, this was the one that jumped out as, oh, that is so down my alley. I have to have that one. Whereas a lot of the other ones I have so many like that already. And it's just, anyway, that's how I roll. And then that was ordered from Kitten Stitcher, and I wasn't just going to pay postage for one thing, so I checked my wish list, and I got this one, Dorothy Sampson from Hands Across the Sea. I'm sorry for that reflection, but I'm not going to take it out of the plastic because I'm not ready to start stitching it yet. But Dorothy Sampson, Hands Across the Sea, very cute. Okay, the other haul that I got was from Wishing Thorn. I'm out of bags, and again, I'm down here without any of my supplies, so I had an offer from the Wishing Thorn for a percentage off. So I took advantage, and I ordered a couple of her bags. This one is the Jane Parson bag, and I've stitched Jane Parson, so I'm partial to this one. It's not vinyl front, and it's not as big as I'm used to, but I need to get some things in bags, and I don't have any. So I was happy to get this beautiful, beautiful bag. And I ordered the William Morris print. I think it's called Strawberry Thief or something. That's one side. There's the other side. Yeah, Strawberry Thief, I think. William Morris, this beautiful print, beautiful print. So I have a couple small bags that I can get some things sorted into. I'm kind of losing control of all my stuff down here because I don't have all my normal places to put things. When they're finished, they normally get put in, ironed and put in a project roll to get framed, or they get in my stack to be finished, and the patterns go in my files where I file all my finished patterns. And I'm just sticking them in my project bag basket, and it's getting messy. So the other thing I ordered from the Wishing Thorn is the Ginny Thompson flower thread for my Elizabeth Hughes sampler. Elizabeth Hughes, what's the date on Elizabeth Hughes? 1851. I used the flower thread when I stitched Jane Parson. I enjoyed stitching with it very much. It's a cotton, and one strand is adequate. I think I stitched her on 32 count, and one strand was very adequate for coverage. So it's nicer to stitch with one thread rather than two. You tend not to get so many twists and knots and things. Okay, so that was my haul. And let's see. So my plans. Now we're almost to the end of March. I have a couple more days, stitching days. I left Little Red Chair Sampler in its hoop because I'm going to stitch on that again today. Maybe some more, I don't know, or if I'll go back to one of my other ones. So anyway, I'll finish up March with whatever I feel like stitching. Then, of course, April 1st, I will start back on my plan. Probably I'll do mason jar lineup the first 7 days or whatever. I'll start with that one. I will give 3 days to red sampler, and you saw that I finished Pennsylvania Pinkeep. So again, I'm going small. I'm going to do, okay, hang on. Keeper of the Pins, Brenda Gervais. They're smalls, but they're red. And I've been wanting to have them done forever. So that's what I'm going to start for my red assignment, 3 days every month. And more if I feel like it. And in this bag also, I have sort of tomato themed. I have Queen of the Needle. Again, Brenda Gervais. Again, Brenda Gervais. Can you see that? I'm sorry. I have I Collect. Again, Brenda Gervais with the needle thread. There. I Collect. I have a freebie from Leela's Studio, and I can't show you because it's just a chart. And I also have from Jeanette Douglas a small tomato mini bouquet. So I have kind of a whole tomato themed bag here. But Keeper of the Pins will be my next red sampler that I work on. Okay, so that's my red, and then I will of course do 5 days on Forget Me Not, and that's more than enough to get me to the next Flosstube in 2 weeks, which will be April 12th. So I've shot through all my stuff here. So life updates I've saved till the end, so if you're not wanting to stick around, you can cut out. Okay, I'll have one more Flosstube in Florida, and that will be the next one, April 12th. We have pretty much settled on our drive date to leave, assuming everything goes as planned. Lots of things to get in order before we go, of course. We're having one more open house before we go. So that's our plan, and no, it has not sold yet. People come in, they love it. Oh, it's so open and it's so big and it's so nice, but then no offers. So anyway, one more open house, and then we'll be taking off for Kentucky. Back to my sewing space and back to my quilting machine and my machine. I need to make project bags and some gifts, getting ready for a retreat. So I'm anxious to get back to my sewing room. So have a good 2 weeks stitching, and I'll see you again on April 12th. Bye-bye.